At her graduation party, she had me seated by the trash bins, while her real dad slid comfortably into my place. Then she handed him the laptop I paid for, smiled wide, and thanked him for always believing in her. Right from the beginning, as if I'd never been there. And then, under her breath, she called me a small regret. I didn't say a word, just kept eating. When the last guest finally left, she walked over and passed me the bill. $5,100 for the night. I looked down at the number, then up at her face, and walked out without a word. My phone later showed 127 missed calls. Her card must have been declined. "You can sit there," she said, gesturing vaguely toward a metal chair parked right next to the garbage. Her voice barely rose above the music, but the sting landed hard. I turned to look. Wobbly leg, a dented soda can on the floor, and just a few feet away, the caterers dumping scraps of food onto trays. "There," she said again, more annoyed this time. I just stood there for a second, blinking. "Chloe, is this—" I started, but she didn't let me finish. "I just need you to be chill tonight, okay?" she snapped, already turning away. Her dress sparkled in the lights as she practically skipped over to the head table, my seat, where a cheerful server had just led her father. He dropped into that chair like he owned the place, like he belonged there. That was supposed to be my spot, the one I paid for, right next to her mother, right next to her. I watched as she leaned in toward him with a rehearsed smile, gave him a performative side hug, then reached under the table to pull out a gift, wrapped sloppily but with effort. "Open it, Dad," she beamed. I didn't even need to look. I already knew what it was. He tore the paper slowly, milking the moment, playing to the audience, and there it was, the exact laptop she and I picked out together a month earlier. Same matte finish, same upgraded specs. The one she told me was for graduate school. Now it was in his hands. She wrapped her arms around him again. Her voice dipped just low enough that she probably thought I wouldn't hear. "Thanks for always believing in me from the start." And then, a breath softer. "He's just a small regret." I didn't react. I sat there still, back straight, hands resting in my lap like I was at a memorial service. I ate in silence. Warm potato salad on a plastic plate. My fork shook once. That was it. Then the speeches began. Her university mentor, a close friend, her mom. One after another, they toasted her brilliance, her bravery, her bright future. I clapped when everyone else did. I smiled. I even took pictures like some paid photographer in the background. No one said thank you. Not once. By the time the DJ was packing up and the last guest stumbled out, I was already cleaning up, tossing empty cups into bins. Old habits die hard. If you're invisible, at least be useful. She approached me quietly when the place had emptied. No greeting, no eye contact. Just a folded piece of paper handed over like a receipt. "What's this?" I asked. "Just what's left. For the night." "You said you'd cover it," she said. I unfolded the slip. $5,132.88. I stared at the number, then looked at her. For the first time that night, she met my eyes. I folded the paper in half, slid it back across the table, and didn't say a word. Just turned around and walked away. I didn't go home. I drove. No destination, just away. Gas tank edging closer to empty, city lights fading into shadows. At some point, I ended up in a Taco Bell parking lot, chewing a cold quesadilla under the dome light while rereading that bill. $5,132.88, and not even a single thank you. What made it worse? I'd already fronted most of it, paid the deposit for the venue, ordered the custom cake, even picked out the gold balloons that spelled "Congrats CW." She didn't give me that receipt to ask for help. She just wanted me to see the total, to remind me who held the power, like I was the help. It had nothing to do with appreciation. It was about control. I met Chloe when she was 10. Quiet at first, guarded in that way kids are when they've been let down too many times by people who break promises like twigs. Her mom, Rachel, was kind, but cautious. They'd been divorced for years. Her dad, Eric, the real dad, barely showed up. But when he did, it was with ski passes or surprise birthday cards with a 50 tucked inside. Then he'd vanish for months. I never tried to take his place. All I wanted was to be there. Consistently. Just show up and stay. For a while, that was enough. I thought it was anyway. Like when Chloe came down with the flu in ninth grade. I was the one who slept on the floor next to her bed, holding a bowl and rubbing her back while Rachel worked nights. When her top choice college rejected her, I stayed up until 3 a.m., helping rewrite her essay for the next round. When she got accepted to UC Berkeley, I booked the flight and bought every dorm essential she could need. Eric responded with a thumbs-up emoji. There was one time, just once, that she called me Dad. It was soft, almost accidental. We were making pancakes. One of them burned. I remember her saying, "Dad, this one looks like Kansas," and then pausing, realizing what she'd said. She never repeated it, but I held on to that moment like it meant the world. The laptop was just the latest in a long list of things I'd given her, not because she asked directly, but because she dropped subtle clues like bait. My old one's too slow. It can't even open Zoom, or I'm just so stressed. Her tone always shifted when she needed something. It wasn't affection, it was strategy. Rachel, of course, would always step in with a defense. "She's overwhelmed, love. She's dealing with a lot right now." I used to think I was the one carrying the weight. 2 days after the party, Rachel called me like everything was normal. Her tone was light. "Hey babe, Chloe's just figuring out how to split the party bill. Do you want her to Venmo you the difference, or do you just want to cover it?" I didn't answer. "Babe," she repeated. "You know what she said to me, Rachel?" I said finally. Silence on her end. She called me a regret, handed me the check and said I was a regret. Rachel let out a sigh like she'd been through this too many times. "She didn't mean it like that. These nights are emotional. You know that." Number what I know is how precise she is with her words. Rachel's tone shifted. Defensive now. "Don't make this about you. This was Chloe's night. Her celebration. I paid for her celebration." And that was it. I hung up. Things spiraled quicker than I expected. That weekend, Chloe posted a carousel on Instagram. The caption read, "Forever grateful to the man who never gave up on me. Hashtag real dad. Hashtag since day one." First photo, her hugging Eric. Second, him opening the laptop. Third, him raising a toast as the guests cheered around him. I wasn't in a single frame. The comments poured in. "This is beautiful. You two are twins. He looks like such a proud dad." And then one that felt like a gut punch. "This is what family looks like." I kept staring at that line until my eyes burned. Then I scrolled backward, deep into her feed. My birthday gift from last year? Not there. The watch I had engraved for her graduation? Nowhere to be seen. The Disneyland trip I paid for when she turned 16? Not even in the story highlights. It was like I'd been deleted, scrubbed clean. Then Monday morning I got a notification. "Chloe Duanri West tagged you in a comment." I tapped it. Another photo of her and Eric at the same party. But this time the caption read, "Some people buy their way in. Some just belong. Hashtag blood matters. Hashtag family first." And in the comments, someone asked, "Who's the guy near the trash cans?" She replied, "Oh, just someone who helped out. Just someone." That same week, Eric emailed me. Subject line, "Hey. Hey man," it started. "First off, congrats on raising such a brilliant kid. I know we've had our ups and downs, but I really appreciate everything you've done for Chloe over the years." He went on, "Wanted to talk about the laptop. Chloe mentioned you might want it back. Totally understand if you're feeling weird about how the seating worked out. Teenagers, right? Anyway, let me know. No hard feelings." He signed it. Best, Eric. I didn't write back. I just forwarded the email to Rachel. She never replied. But the next morning, Chloe texted me, "You're being immature. This is why I never felt close to you. You always make things about yourself." Then another, "Mom's exhausted. You need to stop. You're acting like a victim when all you've done lately is make things harder." Harder? I've done nothing but show up, help, sacrifice. And now they were rewriting me as the villain, in a story I'd funded from the start. So I started digging, not out of spite, out of self-preservation, old receipts, credit card records, emails, I had access to all of it. I've been the tech guy for years. I'm the one who set up Chloe's iCloud, helped Rachel reset her Gmail password every time she forgot it. That's when I found the emails. Messages from Chloe to Eric sent months before graduation. "Don't worry," one read. "I'll make sure you're the center of attention. He just wants to feel involved, but I've got it under control. You're the one who matters." Another one. "I'm only asking him for the laptop because he's dumb enough to say yes. Just play along. Can't wait for this whole stepdad thing to be over. You and me, we know who the real parent is." The timestamps were right there. I printed them, highlighted them, slipped them into a manila folder I labeled Truth. But I wasn't ready to use it. Not yet. First, I wanted to see how far this went. That's when I found the shared Google Drive folder, titled Grad Night Assets. Inside were photos, drafted captions, even pre-written replies for comments. And the hashtag, since day one, was in a draft dated 2 weeks before the party. None of it was spontaneous. It was all staged, every bit of it. And I'd funded the whole production without even realizing I was just another prop. That Thursday night, Rachel got home late. We hadn't really talked since that night. Just walls, sighs, and the kind of silence that feels heavy. Rachel sat on the edge of the bed and said softly, "Chloe's hurting. She feels like you're pulling away." "I am," I replied. "She needs you," she insisted. Number. "She needs a stage and an audience." I paused. "She's young, sure, but not naive." Rachel looked at me differently then. Really looked. Not with her usual diplomatic calm, but with something closer to fear. "What are you going to do?" she asked. I didn't say a word, just gave a quiet smile, the kind that means the storm has already started and you're just waiting for the lightning to strike. I showed up early, not because I was excited to see anyone, but because I wanted to walk through the house before things unraveled. The same crinkled gold balloon spelling CWA still floated in the living room. Wine glasses from the party sat unwashed on the sideboard. The mess was still there, untouched, like the night had never ended. No cleanup, no reflection, no consequences. How appropriate. They walked in laughing, like everything was fine. Rachel wore her signature polite smile, the one she used when pretending. Eric shook my hand like we were buddies catching up at a barbecue. "Let's keep it drama-free tonight, huh?" he said with a wink. Chloe wore a fresh dress, eyes on her phone, didn't even glance my way. We sat. Chicken, salad, red wine. The kind of stiff, forced small talk that feels more like a truce negotiation than dinner. They chatted about UCLA, upcoming internships, new chapters. Eric nodded along like some proud monarch. I didn't say a thing. Then Chloe turned to me and said, "Thanks for coming. I know things got a bit tense, but maybe we can just move on. We're still family." I smiled, reached into my bag, and slid a flash drive onto the table. All three of them stared. "What's that?" Rachel asked. "Your memory," I said. I walked over to the TV, hooked up my laptop, and hit play. First slide, an iCloud screenshot. Chloe's message, "Don't worry, he'll pay for it all. He's soft." Then a chat between her and Eric. "You're the only one who matters. The other guy's just footing the bill." Rachel gasped. Eric leaned in, face darkening. Chloe didn't flinch, but her neck flushed red. Then came the audio, her voice clear as day. "I'll hand him the bill and see if he cries. He's not even family, just a small regret." Eric leaned back, stunned. "You never showed me this," he said quietly. Chloe shifted in her seat. I opened another file, a folder labeled Grad Night Assets. Inside, edited guest list drafts, photography notes, and one instruction circled in red. Keep Eric in frame at all times. And the hashtag, since day one, created and saved 2 weeks before the party. "You didn't just leave me out," I said. "You turned me into a prop. Background noise." Rachel snapped. "That's enough. This is cruel. We were trying to make the night special." I stared at her like I didn't recognize her. "Special? You mean the $5,000 public takedown you called a celebration?" "My gift, my laptop, my seat by the trash cans." Chloe finally spoke. You're being dramatic, like some wounded child. I smiled. And you're acting like a supporting actress who thinks the trophy's already hers. Then I pulled out one last thing. The bill. Printed and folded. Highlighted in yellow. $5,132.88. This is what I paid, I said. Then I reached into the folder again and pulled out a second page. A spreadsheet. Laptop, $2,000. SAT prep classes, $1,200. Flights, $890. Rachel's car payment, $3,500. Dorm rent, 3 months, $4,600. Scholarship funds and gift cash, $1,000. Total, $13,190. I laid it on the table. This is the cost, I said, of being a small regret. Chloe stared at the paper, hands slightly shaking, eyes fixed on the numbers. You didn't throw a graduation party, I said. You staged an erasure. Eric stood finally. I didn't ask for any of this, he muttered. No, I replied. You just benefited from it. Rachel tried to step in. We just wanted to give her something meaningful. I turned to her. You did. It was unforgettable. The most organized humiliation I've ever funded. Then I pulled out my phone, opened the family group chat, deleted it, set the phone down on the table. This isn't revenge, I said. This is closure, with interest. They didn't respond, not a word. I picked up my jacket, calm as ever, and walked toward the door. Just before I reached it, Chloe whispered, You're destroying this family. I turned to face her, looked her in the eyes. You broke it a long time ago, I said. I'm just finally walking away. And then I left. The next morning, I didn't wake up bitter. I woke up light, unburdened, no messages, no group chat pings, no one asking, hey, could you help out this one last time? The silence wasn't cold. It was pure, cleansing. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like a side character in someone else's story. I brewed some coffee, ate scrambled eggs off paper towels because I hadn't unpacked my dishes yet, sat in my tiny rented apartment, empty walls, no expectations. And it felt right. It felt real. Later that afternoon, I opened my laptop and clicked into the folder I had labeled insurance. Inside were all the files, screenshots, emails, receipts, audio clips, the party invoice, and the spreadsheet I showed at dinner, now updated. Annotations, highlights, timestamps, hyperlinks. Then I sat down and wrote the post. When someone calls you a regret after you've paid for their future, that's not a misunderstanding. That's a playbook, a script. This is what family looks like when your value depends on staying quiet. I paid for the party, the laptop, the rent, the bills, even the therapy. I showed up for 12 years. He showed up for one night and got the applause. This wasn't revenge. It was just my version of the story. I attached the receipts, literally, screenshots, emails, voice memos. I posted it anonymously at first, a throwaway Reddit account, a forgotten Medium blog, a few Discord servers. By the next morning, it had hit over 300,000 views. By that evening, someone recognized Chloe. The post caught fire. Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, even LinkedIn might somehow. Screenshots of her saying, he's just financing, started going viral. Comment threads exploded. People argued over what real parenting looks like. Emotional labor, the cost of loyalty, financial manipulation. I didn't join the debate. I didn't need to. I had said my piece. Let the echo handle the rest. Rachel called first, 4 times in an hour. Then came the voicemail. Tight, tearful, panicked. Please call me. This has gone too far. She's getting threats. People are messaging her. Please. I didn't call back. Chloe posted a black screen to her Instagram with white text. I'm sorry if anyone misunderstood my intentions. Love isn't about money. Then she turned off the comments. 2 hours later, she deleted her account. Eric tried to play it cool, posted something vague on Facebook. Social media isn't the place to solve family issues. Stay strong, Chloe. The people who matter know the truth. That might have landed, if someone hadn't replied with a screenshot of him calling me soft and replaceable. His post got reported, then deleted. But the internet doesn't forget. After that, the messages started pouring in. Cousins texted, "Damn, that was a lot. Maybe too much?" Or, "You sure you want this out in the open?" Then the soft lifeline. "If you need to talk." I didn't reply. My inbox lit up with news requests. A podcast host DM'd me. A therapist tagged me in a TikTok about invisible step-parents. Some guy from LinkedIn offered me a job, said he admired my tone of quiet vengeance. I didn't accept anything. Not because I was afraid, but because I was done living in response to everyone else. 3 days later, Chloe texted me. "I didn't mean to hurt you." Then again, "Can we please talk? I don't want to fight. I just want to clear things." She followed with a voice memo. Her voice, smaller, softer, sounding younger than I'd ever heard in person. "I know I took things for granted. I don't know who I am without all the chaos." I listened. Twice. Then I archived it. No reply. Rachel reached out again. "Maybe I raised her wrong," she said, "but you were always the calm one." As if my silence had been a contract she thought she could renew. "You could have kept this private," she added. But that's the thing about silence. It only feels private to the one it protects. I didn't burn everything down. I didn't move across the country or post more online. I just stopped building bridges. I changed my banking info, cut the auto pay for Rachel's car, shut down the Amazon account Chloe had been using, canceled the shared Netflix profile. Small things, but intentional. She noticed. Her last message came soon after. "I guess you never loved me." But it didn't cut. It didn't even bruise. It felt hollow, like a line from a school play, delivered by an actor who forgets what comes next and just stares into the lights, waiting for the curtain to fall. I didn't tell her the truth, that I did love her. Maybe I still do, in a way I don't have words for. But love without respect turns into pity, and I've got none of that left. Some people think closure comes with a teary apology. Others imagine it's revenge. Mine didn't come with either. No big scene, no final text message, no doorstep confession in the rain. The end didn't sound like thunder. It sounded like peace. It sounded like silence. And I've never heard anything more peaceful. It's been 3 months now. I wake when I want. No alarms, no expectations. The apartment stays quiet, not empty, just still. No one calls my name. No one asks for anything. The mornings are finally mine. Slow coffee, sunlight drifting through open windows. No footsteps trailing behind me. No heavy sighs in the hallway. Sometimes out of habit, I glance at my phone expecting another, "Hey, can you help with?" message. But nothing comes. And that's how I know they understood. And so did I. I used to think loyalty meant staying, even when it hurt. That maybe if I just gave a little more, waited a little longer, proved myself a little harder, I'd finally be seen. Be loved the way I gave love. But they didn't want love. They wanted access, credit, convenience, my silence. I wasn't family. I was a subscription. And the moment I canceled, the service ended. No fanfare, just disconnection. The worst part? I let it happen for far too long. I bankrolled their version of me, the helpful background figure, hoping I'd eventually earn a place in their real story. But I wasn't a character. I was a contractor, hired emotional labor for their personal renovation, disposable once the new walls were up. That's what cut deepest, not the betrayal. The realization that I was never meant to belong, only to serve. Chloe hasn't reached out since. Her last words still hang unread. "You really never loved me." I didn't respond, because love stops being love the second it's built on lies. She thought I'd miss her voice, her stories, her rehearsed remorse. She thought I'd cave under guilt, that I'd come crawling back to prove her wrong. What she never saw, what she couldn't understand, was that I didn't walk away out of anger. I walked away because I finally stopped blaming myself for not being enough. Eric never reached out again. No surprise. Ghosts stay quiet when the lights come on. His part's over, and no one's filming the sequel. Rachel sent one final message. "I hope you find peace. We're hurting too, you know." But no, you're not hurting. You're exposed. And those are two very different things. I didn't build a new life. I just stopped leasing one that didn't belong to me. The man who tolerated the disrespect, he moved out. Now it's just me. I do my job. I come home. I eat dinner without tension. I take long, aimless walks. I read without waiting for something to shatter the stillness. No one asks for money. No one expects me to clean up a mess I didn't make. And that, in its own quiet way, feels like the biggest win of all. No standing ovation, no validation, just my name on the lease and no other set of keys. I used to flinch when people said family first. Now I understand what they really meant. Keep us comfortable, even if it destroys you. If you love us, you'll let us drain you. Silence is proof of devotion, but I found something better. My silence. It's no longer soaked in shame. It's lined with clarity. It's not submission. It's the line I no longer cross. They once taught me that silence meant guilt. Now they know it can also mean goodbye.